Actually, I go through phases sometimes where I like to do quizzes all the time. But, I just thought I could do it with you guys. So, yeah, let me pull it up real quick. Okay. Let's go. Okay, so the first question is, would you rather be an Avery or be Ellis Gray's child? If you're a Grey's Anatomy fan, you know that nobody wants to be Ellis Gray's child. Like, don't get me wrong, being an Avery would be difficult too, because like you're always like it's just a lot of pressure, but like that can't and never will be worse than having Ellis Gray as your mother, because she never wanted kids. First of all, you could tell she was literally like, her job was everything to her. And honestly, it just makes me wonder why she never put Meredith up for adoption or something, because like she clearly did not want her. And honestly, like, nobody deserves to be the child of anybody like Ellis Gray. So I'm going to choose B and Avery. Okay, the next question says, would you rather hire Maggie Pierce as chief of cardio, hire Christina Yang, hire Teddy Altman, hire Burke? Okay, so I feel like this shouldn't be that difficult of a question for most of us. Christina, hands down, was the best when it came to cardio. But I feel like she did lack a lot of just bedside manner when it came to her patients. And so if I was hiring, I would probably choose to hire Teddy over Christina. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not just based on that. Like, obviously Teddy was a great surgeon, and she's more than capable. I think she was a good chief of cardio. So I'm going to choose Teddy. Would you rather fire Izzy or fire April? I would fire April. I feel like unpopular opinion, but I really loved Izzy. She was probably my favorite female character on Grey's besides Lexi. My sister's bird will not stop yelling. I'm so sorry. But yeah, she is honestly my favorite. But yeah, she's honestly my favorite female character besides Lexi. And honestly, I liked Izzy more than Lexi at times. But Lexi was my all-time favorite female character. In general, my favorite character on Grey's Anatomy, though, is Alex. But yeah, I would choose to fire April over firing Izzy. I didn't find April particularly annoying, minus the first season that she was on. But, I mean, she just wasn't that great of a character, in my opinion. Would you rather live at Meredith's house, live in the apartment building of Burke's old apartment with the other doctors, Joe and Alex's loft, Derek's house, Derek's trailer, the hospital? Okay, nobody's gonna want to live at the hospital. Why is that even an option? I'd say live at Meredith's house. going off of who had the prettiest house, I mean, I'd still pick Meredith's house though because it was homey. It wasn't like too much or too little. So yeah. Would you rather start working at Grace Sloan in the beginning? Would you rather start working at Grace Sloan with the merger in season 6, after the boards in the plane crash season 9, or with Levi and Darren? I do not watch the newer episodes. I have no idea who those people are. But honestly, I'd say with the merge in season 6, because season 6 was my favorite in terms of how they were after I became Grace Sloan Memorial. I'm not gonna say it was bad, like season 10, season 9, season 11, like they were good seasons, but I just feel like after Mark and Lexi died, like there was just so much of what made Grey's Anatomy what it was just wasn't there anymore. Like they just brought something so original and interesting to the show, and like it just kind of lost its spark after that. And then by the time Derek died in season 11, it was just like, no, like not even worth watching. But yeah, with the merger. Would you rather be Zola's godmother, be Luna's, be Sophia's, all of theirs, or I don't like kids? Honestly, I'd say I do like kids, but it's still a lot of pressure to be a godparent because you never know what's gonna happen. So I don't really know how to answer that. Zola, I guess, because she was a very well-behaved child. Honestly, Sophia was too, but we didn't see as much of her. Would you rather be Bailey's intern, have Dr. Weber as your mentor, learn from Meredith Grey, work with Arizona, be Beyond's favorite student, or work with Callie? Work with Callie. Callie's awesome. I'd love to work with Callie. Would you rather hold a bomb inside a patient, almost get shot by Gary, be in a plane crash, be in a hospital fire? I'm gonna go with be inside a hospital fire. I don't know, all those other ones just seem so much more terrifying. So, yeah. Would you rather operate on a patient in a room without oxygen, operate on a patient while flying with turbulence on a plane, operate on your mentor's husband, or operate on a patient with a bomb inside of him? Operate on my mentor's husband. Although that would be a lot of pressure, like those other ones are like way out of this world when it comes to like just the stress levels that you would be feeling. So it keeps like booting me off of the website for some reason. That seems to happen like anytime I do BuzzFeed quizzes. It's literally frozen. That is so annoying. Sorry, guys. Okay, next question. Would you rather have Lexi as your intern, have Stephanie as your intern, have Joe as your intern? I'd rather have Lexi as my intern. Personally, I didn't like Joe. I liked Stephanie, but again, like the seasons after Lexi and Mark died, they weren't particularly my favorite. So obviously, I'm going to choose Lexi, and plus, she's my favorite female character, as I said. So, period. Would you rather date Jackson, date Derek, date Mark, date Warren, date George, date Callie, date Alex, Yeah, I guess I would choose Mark. Would you rather... Guys, I think that my phone literally just died. That is so annoying. Okay, I'm still gonna post this, but I'm sorry that I wasn't able to go through every single question. I guess maybe I can ramble a bit about the show though, since like I didn't get to finish the quiz. I feel like I have a lot of unpopular opinions when it comes to Grey's Anatomy. Maybe not a lot, but just like ones that are like most people don't agree with, obviously, and I don't see why there are such unpopular opinions. I mean, I just don't. I think that Addison is a bitch. Excuse my language. I think that she is a homewrecker, a slut, just overall a very just manipulative person. And I'm not saying slut to shame her. I'm saying that because she was constantly getting with other people's men, knowing that they were involved with other people. Okay? Number one. And also cheating on her husband with his best friend. Like, he literally, they were like the Three Musketeers. Like, you would think Mark would have been like a brother to Addison, you know? But she ended up not even just sleeping with him, having an affair. Never told Derek the whole story, and people like defend her until their last breath, and it's like, and they're like, oh my god, like, but Derek was such a bad husband. And I'm sitting here thinking, how would you even know? Like, the thing is we never saw any clips of Addison and Derek's marriage before Addison cheated, other than the rewind clip of when he threw her out of the house after he caught her with Mark. So how can you say he was a bad husband when we never even saw any part of their marriage before it fell apart? And the thing is, when it comes to like being emotionally unavailable, which a lot of people, you know, they say that's what probably happened, because he did end up getting to that point with Meredith too, like where he was just kind of like, not that he didn't love her, but he just was way more focused on work. And even if that was the case, that is not a reason to cheat. Never mind with your husband's best friend. Like, that's unforgivable. And the fact that people defend it gets me. Derek wasn't the best guy, but people want to act like Derek is worse than Addison, and I don't understand how in any world anyone can say that and mean it, because I mean, I don't know when people say that, it's like, did we even watch the same show? Because the thing is Derek, I mean, did he technically cheat on Addison with Meredith? It's debatable, because, and let me tell you why. Okay, I'm gonna tell you why it's debatable. It's debatable because Addison knew that Derek did not want anything to do with her. He knew that he was to her to, you know, go back to the way, like, there was no going back to the way things were. Like, their relationship was too damaged. She knew that the only reason why he was staying with her was because he felt obligated to. He had been married to her for over a decade. He never knew any different. He felt like he was doing the right thing. And that's another thing, like, people want to say that he strung her along and made her think that he was giving them a chance. Like, be for real. Be for real right now. Like, Addison was a lot of things, but she was not stupid, okay? She knew, I mean, she made a lot of stupid decisions, but she was not dumb, you know what I mean? Like, she knew that Derek was in love with Meredith. She knew that he was no longer in love with her. And the thing is Addison there was a job opportunity there, and he needed an excuse to get the hell out of New York, okay? So Derek left Addison and went to Seattle. Instead of Addison right then and there going after him or trying to get a hold of him or anything, she just continues sleeping with Mark, ends up pregnant with his baby, has an abortion, and then at some point in the midst of all of that decides, okay, well, I'm gonna go to Seattle and try to win my husband back. Like, Richard had called her, obviously, and asked her to come over there for a case. But, like, she obviously saw that as an opportunity to try to get him back for all the wrong reasons. Because, and she had said that Mark cheated on her, and I say that in quotation marks because, I mean, they were in a situationship, but she was married. So, what do you mean he cheated on you? You were married, and you're saying that the guy you were having an affair with had cheated on you? Like, that is too many different things going on. That does not make sense to me. And back to why it's debatable on if Derek cheated on Meredith or not. She knew, Addison knew, that he did not love her anymore. He was in love with Meredith. He flat out told her, and she still was pushing for him to make it work. So, did he technically cheat on Addison with Meredith? Yes, technically, because they were still legally married, and because they were trying to make it work. Yes, but the thing is Derek was completely, emotionally, physically, all of the above, checked out of the marriage. Literally, long before she even showed up there. You know what I mean? So, that's like, it's like, what did you expect to happen? You know what I mean? Like, how entitled do you have to be to expect your husband to actually want anything to do with you after you cheated on him, period. Never mind, cheated on him with his best friend, and then the fact that she didn't even tell him half the story. She did not even tell him half the story. She never told him that she got pregnant. She never told him that she had an abortion, which there's nothing wrong with having an abortion. Like, I am pro-choice, don't get me wrong, but in that situation, it was wrong. It was wrong. I will say that. It was wrong because the thing is number one, Addison always wanted kids, and she ended up being, like, infertile after that, so that was, like, her only chance to have a baby. And also, she wanted that kid, but she didn't want one that was fathered by him. She wanted one that was fathered by Derek. In my opinion, that is a dumb reason to get an abortion, because regardless of who your child's father is, if you want to be a mom and you want to have a child, then you should have that child. It's like she only had the abortion because she didn't want the reminder of the affair. You know what I mean? But, like, you chose to continue sleeping with him, and also, like, you're literally cheating on your husband with his best friend, and you mean to tell me you're not even using protection? You're not even using protection. You're not even being careful when you're literally having an affair with your husband's best friend. So yeah, I feel like it should have been no surprise to Addison that Derek cheated on her with Meredith. I feel like that should have been no surprise for her, and the fact that she took Meredith's underwear and hung them on the bulletin board for everybody to see during rounds the next day is insane to me. you ended your marriage, and everybody's like, well, their marriage wouldn't have worked out regardless of if she cheated or not. First of all, you don't know that. Second of all, even if that's true, that's not a reason to cheat. It's like, why are people excusing it? I feel like the thing is people are probably going to take this the wrong way. I'm probably going to lose subscribers for this. But when it comes to TV shows especially, nobody really seems to care if the woman cheats. It's like if the woman cheats, it's justified. There must be a reason. He must have been a shitty husband, a shitty boyfriend, whatever. But if the man cheats, lo and behold, like, even if they're in an abusive relationship or something and they meet someone else and it kind of just whatever, like, lo and behold, like, oh my god, like, this guy is absolutely awful. Which, yes, cheating is wrong. But I'm just saying, do I consider Derek a cheater? No, I don't consider him a cheater. When it comes to that particular situation, when it comes to him going and talking to other women at the bar and then telling Meredith that she should be worried, and then the whole kiss with the woman in DC, like, yeah, that was cheating. But it wasn't really anything compared to what Addison did. Does that make it excusable? No, but I'm just saying, you need to hold the same standards for Addison as you do for Derek. Why is it that Addison can straight up have an affair with her husband's best friend, and that's somehow excusable, but every little thing that Derek did made him toxic? Like, I don't get it. And it was more than just the fact that she had an affair with her husband's best friend. She had an affair with her patient's husband on private practice. Her patient who was pregnant, a high-risk pregnancy, mind you, literally had an affair with her pregnant patient's husband. And mind you, this is what gets me, okay, like, she's about to, like, do the deed with this woman's husband, right? And she gets paged that she's in labor. Like, she's literally about to have sex with her patient's husband, and then she gets paged that that patient is in labor. Like, girl, where is your moral compass? I feel like her moral compass was just so messed up, and it's hard to believe that she was even able to stay faithful in a marriage for as long as she did when she was with Derek, because it's like she was just so reckless and toxic after that. It doesn't even make sense. Like, if you want to be a hoe, I'm all for that. Like, have all the casual hookups you want. But when it comes to getting with people that you already know are in relationships, that's not okay. Like, I would never call someone a slut just because they sleep around. Like, no, that's not my definition of a slut. My definition of a slut is somebody, somebody who, somebody who gets with other people's men, somebody who doesn't care if a man is in a relationship already. They're still gonna get with them. And the thing is Addison didn't even try to have any self-control. Like, she did not even try. She didn't try. She did not even try. With all of that being said, though, this is where people are shocked when I say this. I wish that Addison and Derek would have been together. I wish that they would have been like the Meredith and Derek of Grey's Anatomy. I just feel like it would have been more exciting, less predictable for them to have a genuine reconciliation. you mean to tell me these people have been married for 10 plus years and they don't even know how to kiss each other without clunking each other in the head? Like, it was just silly to me. Like, yes, obviously that spark wasn't there anymore because she had an affair. But I'm just saying, it wasn't like, let me just put it this way, the actors like Patrick Dempsey and Kate Walsh, did I say Walsh? Walsh. They had amazing chemistry, like, they worked together very well, and I feel like there's no reason that they couldn't have been the Meredith and Derek of the show. It's just that wouldn't have really made sense to most people because of the cheating situation. But the thing is a lot of things, almost everything about that show made no sense when it came to the relationships. I mean, think about it, like, Addison continuing to sleep with Mark after her and Derek separated. Like, why would you want anything to do with him at that point? Like, wouldn't you feel guilty enough to not, I don't know, like, and people will ship Mark and Addison and say that they should have been endgame and they should have gotten married, and that's what, like, not F's with my head, but that's what, like, really confuses my mind, because it's like, you mean to tell me you're gonna call me weird and everything else because I ship Addison and Derek, but you mean to tell me that Mark and Addison should have been endgame when that was literally her husband's best friend that she had an affair with? Besides that, imagine how awkward that would have been for Derek if Mark ended up, like, marrying Addison or something. Like, I feel like he would have accepted it eventually because he was in love with Meredith, and, you know, obviously that jealousy isn't gonna be there because he wasn't in love with Addison or any of that, you know what I mean? I feel like he would have accepted it and they would have all eventually been friendly and it would have been fine. And, like, yeah, I feel like if that's what it would have took for Addison to stay on Grey's Anatomy, then sure. But I'm just saying, like, where's your logic? If you really think that Mark and Addison should have been endgame, then why are you making fun of me for thinking that Derek and Addison should have been endgame? Like, if you want to go off of what's morally, okay, like, I'd say it would have been more morally okay for Derek and Addison to stay together than for Addison and Mark to end up together. I don't know, it's just weird. I did not like Joe and Alex together. I think that Alex and Izzy, they were technically endgame because he left Joe for it, which I don't think he should have left Joe the way that he did. I think that was really just a horrible thing to do considering she had abandonment issues. But I'm just saying, aside from how it played out, am I glad that they ended up together? Yes. I don't know why people hate on Izzy so much. A lot of people say, like, she was too sensitive and too dramatic, and I'm just sitting here thinking, like, they were all too sensitive and too dramatic. Like, that was the whole point of the show. You know, they all acted like high schoolers. They were good at their job, but they interacted like high schoolers, you know, like there was just a lot of drama and that's what made Grace what it was. And Izzy was a very kind-hearted, compassionate person, and, you know, she was great with, she was great with patience. She had a lot of just compassion, and I think that that's something that a lot of them lacked. Obviously, they eventually, learned, but I don't know, I just feel like, yes, the LVAD situation was insane, don't get me wrong, like, when she clipped Denny's LVAD wire, and everybody's like, oh my god, like, she should have been fired, like, that's insane, like, yes, he was essentially the owner of the hospital though, so he was in control more than anybody else. And I just feel like, Grey's Anatomy would not have been what it was if it wasn't for all the drama and the, toxic relationships and everything like that. But I feel like if people want to use real life logic to justify why they hate a character, I feel like that's not a reason to hate a character, you know what I mean? Because none of them really, followed the rule book, you know what I mean? And that's what made it interesting. I don't, and this might be like maybe an unpopular thing, I don't know, but I am someone that does not apply real life logic to TV shows, because the thing, unless it's a reality show obviously, but the thing is it's fiction for a reason, you know what I mean? So if I find a toxic couple interesting and I want to see them together, like, for people to be saying, oh my god, like, where's your morals, etc., like, it's a TV show that's not a reflection of what I think is okay and not okay in any real life situation. Because, say Addison and Derek were a real life couple, right? Would I want them together? No, that's insane, but like, it's a TV show, and none of the relationships on Grey's Anatomy were healthy anyway, so it's like, why not make it interesting? When it comes to TV shows, it's not about what is correct, what is healthy, what is, like, especially when it comes to relationships, like, it's not about who's good for who and who's healthy, and you know what I mean? Like, it's about what is interesting, what is hot, what is gonna keep people at the edge of their seat. And there is nothing unpredictable about a stable relationship, you know what I mean? So if all of the relationships would have been stable, like, how would it have been interesting to watch? Like, in order for you to stay on the edge of your seat, there needs to be some toxicity in there, you know what I mean? So that's my opinion. I love Izzy. I feel like like I said, I feel like most people hate Izzy, but I personally loved Izzy. And I think that I'm glad that her and Alex were in game. I think that the way that she left him with all her medical debt was absolutely atrocious, but I also tried to take into account that she had just, had cancer, almost died, and all of those things. I don't really think that she was in her right mind. And also, like, there was a lot of drama in real life between Katherine Heigl and Shonda Rhimes, which I'm not going to get into that just because I've already been recording this for 35 minutes, but I just think that had there not have been a lot of drama between them in real life, then things might have played out differently in terms of how she left the show. Same with Derek, like, Patrick Dempsey was fired from the show, I think. Well, no, he wasn't fired, but he was killed off of the show because of drama between him and Shonda. You don't cross Shonda because she will kill you off. Everybody knows that. And that's just petty to me, you know what I mean? Like, why would you go as far as killing off a character that everybody loves because he pissed you off, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like Shonda has an ego problem. Like, if you just look at these different situations that have happened, and so many people have talked about how, like, toxic the environment was, and the cast got along with each other, so they weren't talking about each other, you know what I mean? So, I mean, that tells me that they were probably talking about more, like, the producer-writer side of things. But people going as far as saying that Patrick Dempsey terrorized the set is insane to me, because, like, I don't know, it's just like, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I'm saying there's no proof, I feel like there's a good chance that there could be an exaggeration going on because she had an issue with him for some other reason. And, I mean, Ellen Pompeo and Patrick Dempsey are still friends in real life. I feel like if he would have been terrorizing the set constantly, then why would they still be friends? Because Ellen Pompeo is very much so like a no bullshit kind of person, so I don't think she would choose to associate with him if like he was terrorizing the set, etc. Plus, that's a strong word, like terrorizing. Grey's Anatomy fan, you should know Isaiah Washington is insane. He's made up a lot of rumors that make no sense, and he just wants clout. He just wants to stay relevant. Like, he just says things, and I mean, he's just not a good person. He's done a lot of bad things. So I mean, clearly, with that rumor coming from him, it's obviously likely to not be true. But I mean, yeah, obviously nobody knows for sure at the end of the day unless you were literally there and witnessed what did or didn't happen. Nobody knows for sure. But I don't know, it's just, it's weird to me. Which, it's also weird because people still to this day are convinced that Ellen Pompeo and Patrick Dempsey, which Meredith and Derek in real life, Ellen Pompeo and Patrick Dempsey, they're convinced that they're in love with each other, like in real life. People will straight up still comment on like videos on YouTube from many years ago of Meredith and Derek and be like, oh my god, that's not acting, like they're seriously in love with each other. Like, they're married to other people, first of all, which I know that doesn't always mean anything, but I feel like the thing is if actors have really good chemistry with each other, people think that they're in love in real life, and it's weird to me because it's like, did you ever think that maybe they're just good at acting, that they're a good actor, you know what I mean? Like, it's supposed to be believable. That doesn't mean that they're in love with each other in real life, like, what? But yeah, that just made no sense. I've been rambling about this for way too long. I feel like I just get so passionate about, well, not passionate, that's the wrong word, but I just get so, like, distracted talking about Grey's, especially when it comes to certain, like, storylines and stuff, because, like, I don't know, it's just, I just like talking about it, and since it's an unpopular opinion, like, I just get kind of fired up about it, like, trying to, like, defend my point, even though, like, obviously everybody's entitled to their opinion, but it is wrong to defend a cheater regardless. So I find that kind of red flaggy for people to like defend a cheater. But like, yeah, at the end of the day, it's, well, I sound like a hypocrite because I just said don't use real life logic